I'm Anil Kumar. Welcome to my series on functions. I've taken up questions from previous test paper and I hope their solution will help you in getting better marks. So here is a very interesting question on graphing which I've taken from this test paper right there, right? So many times we find students making some mistakes. So I thought I'll discuss this with you and let's see how to do it correctly. Question number 16 is sketch the graph of the function minus 2 square root of minus 4x plus 8 plus 3. Find domain and reach. So there are two parts to this. Whenever you're given a function in this form, first thing is to rewrite this. So we'll write minus 2, okay, square root of minus 4. That has to be factored, right? So you get x and that you divide 8 by minus 4. So you get minus 2 plus 3, correct? So that becomes your base. So as you can see, your function is actually reflected on both x and y axis, correct? So roughly speaking, if you're talking about just sharing with you, roughly speaking, the graph of the original function will be a square root function, right? This is your square root function. Now what is happening here is this graph is being reflected, right, like this, correct? And then, so that is because of this, and then because of this minus, it gets reflected kind of like this, correct? And then we will get into the final graph with two translations. Minus 2 means right and this means up, right? So basically we are expecting a graph which should be kind of like this. So whenever you read a particular equation to be graphed, make an idea of what you are getting into, right? So that is what we are looking into as a final result. Okay. Now there are many ways to do it. What we could do here is we can have a mapping diagram. So if your coordinate points are x and y, then we can map them like x values will be now divided by minus 4. So we have minus x over 4. We'll add 2 to them, correct. As far as the y values are concerned, they will be multiplied by minus 2 and then we'll add 3 to them, correct. So that becomes your mapping diagram. Okay, so with this, we'll actually make table of values and we'll map some of our values. So on the original function, which is, let us say, square root of x, and here we have this transformed function which is minus 2. I'll write it in this form, minus 4 x minus 2 plus 3. Okay, so we'll calculate some values. So let us take origin, because in this it is always from 0, 0. So if I put 0 here, we get 2, and there we get 3. So we have a point 2, 3. Then we have 1, 1. So if I write 1 here, so we get 2 minus 1 over 4, right? So for 1, we get 2 minus 1 over 4. So we have a point 2 minus 1 over 4 is 1, 3 by 4. And here, if I substitute 1, so we get minus 2 plus 3, which is plus 1, correct? Okay, so let's take a point which is 4 and square root of 4 is 2. So if I substitute 4, we get minus 1 plus 2. So we get 1 here. And 2 minus 4 plus 3 is minus 1, correct? So we get these points. So these are good enough points to begin with. So let me just draw the axis and then we'll sketch the graph. So we are looking for this kind of a graph. So let me just draw axis kind of like this. Okay. So the very first point which we could see here is 2, 3, right? So at 2 we have a point 3, that is 1. And then we have 1 minus 1. So at 1 we get minus 1. And then we have 1, 3 by 4, 1. So at 1 it is slightly less, kind of like this. Do you see that part, right? So these are the points which we get. Now, you could actually, from the function also, write this as 0 and then figure out a point, right? So if I write, I'm just substituting 0 here. So if I write x as 0, in that case, minus 2 square root of 8 plus 3, right? So definitely a big negative number. So what we will do here, since this is a approximate, get an idea of this number. It is basically 3 minus 2 square root 8, right? And that is equal to, in decimals, minus 2.65. Okay. So we just got an idea about this. So minus 2.65, somewhere here, right? So this is not critical, not so important. But I feel is good to take. So that's a y-intercept. So consider this point. And now we can actually draw this graph here. So that becomes your final solution for the graph of this function, right? So I actually prefer to find this y-intercept also. Is that clear to you? So that is how we are going to do. Now let's write down its domain and range. So clearly the domain is, we can write x belongs to real numbers, where x is less than equal to 2, right? This point is 2 and this is 3. So where x is less than equal to 2. And as far as the range is concerned, range is y belongs to real numbers, where y is less than equal to 3. So y is less than equal to 3. Is that clear to you? So that is how we can get domain and range for this particular function. So I hope this concept is absolutely clear. So it's a good idea to use the points as we did. You may or may not look into this point. Just sketch with these 3 points. That should be okay. You'll definitely get correct domain and range. But it is a preferred thing to always find y-intercept. It's not difficult to calculate. So with that, we come to an end to important test question on functions, Unit 1, MCR 3U. I hope it really helps you to understand the topic better. Feel free to write your comments, share your views, and if you like and subscribe to my videos, it'd be great. Thanks for your time and all the best.